Good morning, everybody. This is Tucker Miller here again, and you heard in the background it is raining. But anyway, like I said, for my next movie review, I'm gonna be reviewing on Brave. Came out in 2012. So plot of this movie is we got this princess named Merida. She does not want to be a princess. Instead, she wants to do like archery and all that, like shoot bow and arrows and sword fighting and yeah. But her mom, Queen Eleanor, keeps telling her that she is a princess and all that, and so one day Merida disobeyed Queen Eleanor, and they got into an argument and things stuff like that, and so Merida went away from home and all that, but until she stumbled upon this old witch, this old lady. She, sorry, ignore the thunder in the background, but as I'm saying, she met this like old lady, which is a witch, and she asked her to put like a spell and something like that. So she made her like a pie or something like that, and that pie is to turn Queen Eleanor into a bear. So yeah, so yeah, she turned into a bear. So it is up to Merida to turn her mom back into a human, and that's basically what the plot is. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. The plot in this movie is very hard to explain. But yeah, I did rewatch this film yesterday, so yeah. Now, what do I have to say about Brave? Well, I'm not gonna say it's a bad movie. It is just not one of my favorites. Has to be one of the weaker Pixar films. So yeah, but Brave is not a bad movie. Sure, it may not be as good as like any other Pixar film like Toy Story, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Ratatouille, or Up, but this movie's pretty enjoyable, but not one of my personal favorites. But yeah, and you can tell this is a bootleg DVD. It's not an official DVD because back in the day, my uncle used to make like bootlegs of movies. And he so yeah, he made this for me. He made this movie, and he made a copy of this movie, and yeah, and he made one. I think he made one for our cousins, for my cousins as well. So yeah. Now, I did not saw this film in theaters. That's right, I did not saw this film in theaters because at first I wasn't too interested in it, even though no, when I watched like the trailers, this is from like the studio that brought you like Up, I think, and Toy Story 3, something like that. But or Toy Story, but yeah, I wasn't too. At first, I wasn't too interested in this film when it came out. So yeah, that's why I did not saw it in theaters. But when my uncle made a copy this for me and my brother, I guess I decided to watch it, and it's like, oh well, it's not a bad, I guess it's not a bad movie, but not one of my, it's not as good as Toy Story, so, yeah. So, yeah. back in the when I was a kid, when this movie came out, I wasn't like too crazy with it. So yeah. And fun fact, this is the only Disney princess movie that is made by Pixar. So yeah, Merida is the only Disney princess that is from Pixar. So yeah, that's a fun fact. So yeah. So yeah. So now let's talk about the characters of this movie. Merida, well, she's kind of too much of a whiner and stuff like that, but she's not a bad character. Queen Elmore, she's a pretty good character. Angus, which is the horse, I think, or yeah, the, yep. Merida's dad, he's a great character, and yeah, and Merida's three silent brothers, oh, they're hilarious characters. Hilarious characters. So yeah, those are all I can say about the characters. I know, no, I'm not really saying much about this movie because, yeah, the plot is kind of hard to explain, but, you know, but I think I got the plot right, so yeah. And what's another thing I can say about this movie? The animation is pretty good, but even though it kind of does feel like a DreamWorks movie, like How to Train Your Dragon and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it has pretty good animation, but to me, it kind of does. I can agree with like Super Jack 001. I've been watching his videos for a long time. Since when I started collecting Disney VHS and DVDs. I kind of agree with him. This does kind of felt like a DreamWorks movie, but I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but like he does, but says, but I personally like this movie. I don't love it, but I just like this movie. Not one of my favorites. So, yeah. So, what's another thing about this movie I can say about? Now, this movie does have some flaws. Like, the plot is kind of predictable. Like, how Merida didn't like want to be a princess and stuff like that, and she decided she made a deal with the witch and transform her into a bear and stuff like that. Because yeah, yeah, that the plot is kind of predictable, but yeah. But again, not a bad movie. And yeah. And some of the jokes, again, just like I said with Cars 2, some of the jokes kind of didn't really felt flat. They weren't even that funny. But, yeah. Now let's talk about some scenes. Well, I kind of do like the scene where Merida was shooting the bow and arrow, and yeah, that was a pretty good scene, I guess. The ending was kind of sad. The ending was kind of sad in this movie, I guess. So yeah, those are some scenes I could think of in my head right now. And what's another thing I can say about this movie? Oh, those are the only scenes that I can think about. Now the songs like "Touch the Sky," that was a very good. That was a great song. "Touch the Sky." Mm, yeah, that was a great song. And there was some few other songs, but I forgot what the names are. But yeah, yeah. So yeah, there's nothing else I can say about Brave. So yeah, nothing else I can say about this movie. So yeah. If and to be honest, and believe it or not, this film actually won the best animated feature of 2012. It won an Oscar. And to be honest, Wreck-It Ralph should have won that reward. Because, yeah. Wreck-It Ralph should have won the reward for Best Picture Animated Film of 2012. But instead, this movie did, I think. But yeah. If I had to pick, I think Wreck-It Ralph is a better film from that year. I'll probably review on Wreck-It Ralph next year when I review on the Disney animated films leading out to Zootopia 2. But right now we're focusing on Pixar. So, yeah. So yeah, that's all I can say about Brave. So, now here's my rating for this movie. I'm gonna get Brave a 7 out of 10. There are some flaws with this movie. This movie does have flaws. And not the worst Pixar movie, but not the best Pixar movie. But anyways, so that is it for my movie review on Brave. And stay tuned for my next movie review, which will be on Monsters University. Monsters University. Sorry. Yeah, Monsters University. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this review and stay tuned for the next video.